Should we do a Myrtle? Hi, you can see us. Okay. Myrtle of the day. Consider the murdered preacher. Detective Logico was enjoying his vacation at the upscale chapel when, well, what do you think happened? A preacher was killed. Earl Grey. Admiral Navy, Duchess of Vermilion. Ooh, Duchess of Vermilion. Each suspect brought one weapon to one location, but only was... Sorry. Oh, no. But only was murderer today. Jico massaged his magnificent eyebrows as he examined the evidence. Earl Grey had never been in the choir loft. Brown hair was found wrapped around the heavy code book. Then, while holding his notebook, he took the statements of the three suspects, knowing the innocent would always tell the truth, while the guilty would always lie. By deducting which of them must be lying, Logico would be able to identify who done it. Earl Grey, Admiral Navy, was in the nave. Okay. The Duchess of Vermilion was in the graveyard. Speaking as a duchess, a wine bottle was in the nave. When Detective Logico gathered all the suspects into one room and made them listen to him explain his elaborate reasoning before he finally got the part where he announced who done it. Who, how, and where. Open our notebook. Okay. Earl Grey was never in the choir loft. Brown hair was found wrapped in a heavy code book. Brown hair. Who had brown hair? Firstborn son of Admiral Navy, who himself was the son. He always smells faintly of the sea. Brown hair. Okay. She has white hair. Earl Grey has white hair. So it's Admiral. Admiral Navy, his hair was found in the code book. Okay. Admiral Navy was in the nave. Now, somebody could be lying. We know this. Admiral Navy was in the nave. Duchess of Vermilion was in the graveyard. Which means a wine bottle was in the nave. He was in... Where was he? He was in the nave. That is so weird, you guys. Wine bottle was in the nave. Earl Grey was never in the choir. Whoops. So, Admiral Navy had the book and was in the nave. He was never in the choir. Who said that they were in the graveyard? Duchess of Vermilion was in the graveyard. Admiral Navy was in the nave. Earl Grey had never been in the choir loft. So one of these guys are lying. Because he had never been in the choir. But he says he was. So if by his evidence, this means that the yarn had to be in the choir. He had the book. And the wine bottle was in the nave. So it had to be a piece of yarn. And one of these two. Because, okay, so we know for sure he wasn't in the choir loft. Fascinating weapon. Lajiko had heard of people being strangled with something like this. Deductive Lajiko examines the weapon. Lajiko could imagine someone getting stabbed with something like this. For evidence of this, look for mysterious red droplet left behind. Filled with keywords and ciphers, you can use it to crack codes or skulls. There's no one singing. It's quiet. During the services, you could hear the organ. Small graveyard next to the church. Most of the graves are old, but perhaps one is more recent. Lined with pews and lit by stained glass. Has an otherworldly, murdery feel. Okay. So he wasn't in the choir. She says that she was. Right? She says it? The Duchess of Vermilion was in the graveyard. Wait. Was in the graveyard. He was in the nave. And he wasn't in the choir. Hold on, let me look this one more time. Earl Grey hadn't been in the choir loft. Knowing the innocent always tells the truth while the guilty always lies. The Duchess of Vermilion was in the graveyard. A wine bottle was in the nave. Hold on. Admiral Navy was in the nave. Well, the wine bottle was in the nave. But Admiral Navy has... He had the codex, or the code book. So... He couldn't have been in the nave. As Earl Grey would have claimed. He wasn't in the choir. So let's say he's here and he was in the choir. He had the code book. She claims that the bottle of wine was in the nave. I believe Lady Vermilion. But I think it's either between Earl Grey or the Admiral Navy. Hold on, let me go back for a second. His vacation upscale chapel. Preacher was killed, but it doesn't say how. Admiral Navy was in the nave. Duchess of Vermilion was in the grave. Speaking as a Duchess, a wine bottle was in the nave. Okay, I think he was stabbed with a wine bottle in the nave. And he wasn't in the choir loft. But who was? Admiral Navy. I think it's Earl Grey. Earl Grey, wine bottle, knave. I never get these right. Let's go! Let's go, dude! Bro, how? My brain is so big. Let's go! Myrtle! Yeah, 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 yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna make this a little bigger. That's crazy, dude. How did I do that? Yeah, valid. I'm still playing Kindergarten Clue. Okay. It was Earl Grey with a wine bottle in the nave, Detective Logico declared. While Earl protested his innocence, his confidence as Detective Logico explained the case against him, and he confessed under the pressure. You can't stop my tea empire. I'll have you boiled in a bag, he announced. Detective Logico watched him be led away, knowing it was the last he would see of him. That concludes Consider the Murdered Preach. You solved today's Myrtle in 10 minutes and 31 seconds. Pew, pew, pew. How many days can you keep your streak going? Tomorrow's will be available. Okay. So, hold on. I want to see what we said that he was in the choir and he had the code book. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She was in the graveyard. The only one we didn't get was the yarn. I thought that the yarn was in the choir, but... So I got these two mixed up a little bit, but I totally got this one. Let's go. Admiral Navy was in the nave. Duchess of Vermilion was in the graveyard. Wine bottle was in the nave. So the reason that this made it a little bit clearer for me was because he claimed that the Admiral was in the nave. But I believe Duchess Vermilion. And she said that the wine bottle was in the nave, but we confirmed based on the weapons that there was brown hair in this. And this was evidence. Right here. A brown hair was found wrapped around the heavy code book. So, which by the way, how long is Admiral Navy's hair? Wrapped around the heavy code book? Pardon me. That's what made me think Earl Grey was our number one suspect. I love it. What a nightcap. That was crazy, guys. I haven't played a Myrtle in a hot second. And I got that one.